that, especially as we get closer to our MSU preview. So, TJ, on the back of the debacle, the clown show, the felony, whatever you want to call it, that just transpired the other day, the 21-7, which really, in my opinion, TJ, it was a lot worse than 21-7. Michigan caught some lucky breaks in that game to even keep it that close. And there was one, and I meant to get a screenshot, but I didn't. But those who are eagle-eyed viewers really watching the game close like we do, you might have seen that close to the end of the second quarter, remember that time when they scored a touchdown, the one touchdown? Well, Sherrone Moore had this play sheet, okay? And he was crossing off those plays. And what you saw was Kalel Mullings pound up the middle, inside zone. And what else did you see? You saw play action to Colston Loveland once the run opened up that play action opportunity. And lo and behold, they scored their one touchdown. And I'm wondering, TJ, the more I've thought about it, I've thought about this a lot. Like, why did he do that and then hand play calling back? And I'm thinking what he did there is he's like, this is how it's done. I'm giving you an example of how it's done. And now go forth and try to replicate instead of whatever the hell he was trying to do before. Is it time for Sherrone Moore, though, to just take back play calling duties now?
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't we? I mean, our offense is one of the worst in the nation. You know, like we can't score. I think we're the third worst passing offense in the nation. We're up there with the academy schools for essentially only running the ball and not throwing the ball. Yeah, I mean, it's, in my opinion, if Sherrone wants to save his ass, and let me also stress this, I think he's coming back for another year. I don't think he's gone after 1 year. The buyout information, I wanted to actually, this is a great time to address this. On Saturday's postgame show, I said Sherrone Moore's buyout was $5 million. That may not have been accurate. So I got that information from an ESPN article. I was then shown a New York Times article that may contradict that information. So I don't necessarily know what exactly. So the New York Times article essentially said 75% of whatever is remaining on the contract would be owed in a buyout. So I don't know. There's two different sources with two different buyouts. I'm not quite positive what the true buyout is. So, but nevertheless, I do think Sherrone's going to get one more year, especially, I'm going to tell you this right now. He lands under what he's going to get in, like, he's getting another year. But it's very likely he'll get another year. So then it's going to come down to, you know, what are the coaches you're going, like, he needs to, and he needs to really evaluate his staff now. But in my opinion, he needs to do what is best for the program. You OC'd a national championship team, Sherrone. You made an adjustment against Penn State, Sherrone. Yep. Like, we've seen you actually do pretty good here. It's time to take over. Kirk, get back to the quarterback room. It was a good effort, son, but not good enough. So that's what I would do. And another coach to lean on, by the way, is Steve Kasula, our tight ends coach. He was actually formerly an offensive coordinator for UMass and Ferris State. So he has OC experience. I know you're like, I'm not saying he's the solution. I'm simply saying a former offensive coordinator. Kirk Campbell's not a former offensive coordinator.
Well, didn't he OC at Old Dominion for 2 years?
Maybe you're right. Maybe Old Dominion. Whatever, though. Steve
He didn't do well. He didn't do well there, as far as I recall.
Even so, though, Steve Kasula has more OC experience in terms of years. So I'm not saying he should be the OC. I'm saying Sherrone could potentially lean on him. Plus, I would also argue the tight end room is one of the better rooms.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're actually performing. You know, so something to think about. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think Sherrone really needs to start taking more responsibility and not stop trusting some of your guys. You know, you gotta, you know, maybe cut off some of that delegation and start taking control again.
Yeah. I think it's time. I think you're right. I think it's definitely time. You know, I've been saying this the last couple of days. It's time for Kirk Campbell to get Josh Gaddis. In other words, he's going to be the offensive coordinator in name only. He's going to run the quarterback room, just like Josh Gaddis ran the wide receiver room. but others are going to run the actual plays because it's just not working out. And I think it's got to be time. If it isn't, there was one post on one of the boards which I thought was very interesting, where they said, or maybe it was on Discord, but they said what Sharon should do is run the play calling against Michigan State completely, but then have Kirk Campbell say, "Okay, I want you to write down in real time what plays you would have called." And then I'm gonna look at, and then we're gonna compare notes on Sunday. We're gonna have dinner. We're gonna have a nice dinner, and we're gonna, and we're gonna compare and talk about it. And maybe that's a way. I don't know if there's any salvaging it or not, but maybe that's a solution, at least for the short term, to just get through the next game. I think Moore needs to call this rivalry game for sure, though.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would not disagree. I think it's time for Sharon to take more responsibility. I mean, at the end of the day, the season's really on the line here. You're risking not being bowl eligible.
Yep. Elisha with 3 in a row, the triple threat super chats, 3 in a row. Thank you so much for coming back here. Has been supporting pretty much every episode of our show all season. Any chances Barham, Hausman, Moore, I'm guessing Rodmore is what he means, come back?
I mean, maybe he's thinking Derek Moore.
It was one or the other.
Rodmore is 100% coming back. So Rodmore will 100% be back with Michigan. I think Barham, I don't think he's done enough. I think he's starting to come on. We saw last game. He's starting to show what he is as a player. I think it's potential he comes back. Hausman's going to be it could very well come down to, they do that NIL fund in January to retain players. It could very well come down to those type of decisions. If it's Derek Moore, by the way, no, I do not. I do not think Derek Moore would come back. But I'm curious how this fund's going to go, this next fund, because they are definitely going to try and retain guys. I know that. So we'll see.
Elisha with the 5, although Tuttle threw the ball 30 plus times and the wide receivers were more open this game than I have ever seen them, we should run more. Mullings needs 25 plus carries a game.
I don't think Tuttle's. So, this is actually a topic we should have hit on, John, is who should be our quarterback. I don't think Tuttle should be our quarterback. I think we should go back to Davis Warren. That said, yeah, I agree. Mullen should at least get 20 plus carries a game. I don't know about 25, but 20 plus. And then, and then hopefully Davis Warren or whoever sets the thing is, we don't even know who the quarterback is. Sharon Moore has not even announced who the quarterback's going to be this Saturday. So, make the defense pay. I know we haven't really seen it, but, that's got to be some kind of strategy. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Mullins is no question a answer, but we probably need more than one answer.
For sure. I'm on the get Kalel Mullings as many carries as we can while still, he can't play every single down. You throw Ben. Yeah. I want to see a little Ben Hall, which I've been saying all year. Where's my guy, Ben Hall? Like, let's see a little bit of Ben Hall. All right.
Yeah,
just a couple of carries. Why not? At this point, like, what? Like, just try some shit out, man. Like,
Edwards fumbles the ball and Sharon has a strict turnover policy, but it's like Edwards almost can do no wrong, man.
Yeah, it's very strange. And now Elisha is sounds like disagreeing a little bit because he does not think that Kirk called a horrible. I don't think Kirk called it was pretty bad. I don't know. I just think Tuttle missing. Tuttle missing those open throws and turnovers killed us, and the lack of Mullings running it. Tuttle not executing was definitely a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think we would all agree the coaching staff would probably look a little better if we had a quarterback. I think the quarterback magnifies the situation, making everything making everything look a little worse than it really is, because now everything's trying to overcompensate, and then when you start overcompensating, things start looking even worse in terms of like players playing out of position, And then not only that, now you're getting to the morale factor of the team where, the boys are not up to play, or they don't have the confidence they would typically have because they don't have the leader in the huddle. I mean, it really is just a compounding issue right now. So, I mean, I think that's potentially why you see Michigan going so aggressively for a recruit like Bryce Underwood, because they feel like this could be a multifaceted solution.
Yep, and we'll see how things go. I do hope to see I just want the best players to play. That's what I'm crying for. Like, the best players need to play, just like how Harbaugh had it. So I don't want to see a player out there just because he might have gotten promised something before the season. Like, it's do or die time. Like, this could be a 4-8 team if drastic action isn't taken. And whether it's Davis Warren who plays the best, whether it's Alex Orji, whether it's Jack Tuttle, whoever plays, in my opinion, needs to be who plays the best.
Not Jack Tuttle.
Davis Warren has seemed like he might be the best of the worst options.
Yeah.